Desert journey with Hagar. Imagine a vast, endless desert under the blazing sun. The wind carrying grains of sand like tiny arrows. A mother, Hagar, clutches her infant son, Ismail, in her arms, with nothing but the barren land stretching in every direction. There's no village, no river, no sign of life, just the harsh, unforgiving wilderness of Arabia. This is the scene of one of the most moving stories in Islamic history, the journey of Hagar and her young son, Ismail. Hagar had been entrusted to this desert by Prophet Ibrahim. Following Allah's command, she did not know why they were left in such isolation, yet her faith was unshakable. The challenge was immense. She had to protect, feed, and nurture her baby in an environment where survival seemed impossible. Every step in the sand was a test. Every rising sun a reminder of the odds stacked against them. As the hours turned to days, water ran out, and Hagar's desperation grew. In her search for life-sustaining water, she ran back and forth between two small hills, Safa and Marwa, calling out for help, seeking any sign of mercy in the desolate land. Her courage and determination were remarkable. Despite exhaustion, fear, and uncertainty, she never lost hope. Every step was driven by love, faith, and sheer survival instinct. Then, in a miraculous moment, Allah answered her plea. From the ground near her child, water gushed forth. This miracle became the famous Zamzam well, a source of life not only for them, but for generations to come. Hagar's perseverance and unwavering trust in Allah turned despair into hope, transforming the barren desert into a sanctuary of life. This journey was more than a physical struggle. It was a lesson in trust, patience, and submission to divine wisdom. It set the stage for Ismail's character, preparing him to grow into a prophet of immense faith and resilience. The image of Hagar running between the hills, the baby crying in her arms, and water bursting forth from the sand remains one of the most powerful symbols of courage, devotion, and divine mercy in Islamic history. As we explore the life of Prophet Ismail, this moment reminds us that faith often demands the impossible, and through patience and trust, miracles emerge even in the harshest circumstances. Zamzam, a fountain of faith. Picture the scene, the desert sun blazing overhead, endless sand stretching as far as the eye can see. A small child cries, thirsty and weak, while his mother, Hagar, runs desperately between two hills, Safa and Marwa, searching for water, searching for hope. This was the moment when faith met the miraculous. From the very earth beneath her son's tiny feet, water gushed forth, a fountain that would change history. The Zamzam well. Zamzam was no ordinary water. It was a gift from Allah, a symbol of mercy, providence, and divine care. For Hagar and Ismail, it was life itself, saving them from the brink of despair. For generations to come, this spring would sustain countless pilgrims and travelers, becoming a central part of Islamic tradition. The miracle of Zamzam reminds us that even in the most desperate circumstances, divine guidance can appear in the most unexpected forms. Hagar's role in this miracle cannot be understated. Her tireless search, her relentless hope, and her unwavering trust in Allah paved the way for a source of life that would endure for thousands of years. she demonstrated that courage and faith are often inseparable. When you act with trust and determination, miracles are possible. For young Ismail, this early encounter with divine mercy shaped his understanding of the world and his relationship with Allah. He learned, even as a child, that faith isn't just belief, it's action, persistence, and trust in the unseen. This lesson would guide him throughout his life as a prophet, shaping his character and preparing him for the monumental responsibilities that awaited him. Today, the Zamzam well stands as a living legacy of Hagar and Ismail's story, a reminder of hope amidst hardship, of faith amidst uncertainty, and of Allah's boundless mercy. Millions of pilgrims drink from this same spring every year, connecting with a story that began over 4,000 years ago in the scorching desert of Arabia. The Zamzam miracle is more than water. It is inspiration. It reminds us that even in the most barren and hopeless places, life and blessings can flow. Hagar and Ismail's journey teaches us that trust in Allah, perseverance, and devotion are the true sources of sustenance, far beyond what the eyes can see. Growing up in the heart of Mecca, after the miraculous emergence of Zamzam, life began to take shape for young Ismail As in the heart of the desert. Mecca, though still a modest settlement, became the backdrop of his childhood, a place destined to become central to Islamic history. Ismail grew up surrounded by the stark landscapes of Arabia, learning lessons of patience, faith, and responsibility from the very beginning. As a child, Ismail was raised under the loving care of his mother, Hagar, whose unwavering faith and courage left a lasting impression on him. Every day was a lesson in resilience. He saw firsthand the challenges of survival in a harsh desert environment, yet he also witnessed the rewards of trust in Allah. Hagar's devotion and guidance instilled in him a deep sense of purpose, preparing him for the remarkable role he would later play. Mecca itself was more than just a home, it was a center of trade, community, and spiritual significance. Young Ismail observed the interactions of merchants, travelers, and neighbors. From an early age, he learned the values of honesty, fairness, and compassion. These experiences nurtured the seeds of leadership within him, shaping his character and building the foundation for the prophet he was destined to become. Despite the challenges of desert life, Ismail exhibited qualities that would define him for life: obedience to Allah, kindness toward others, and an unshakable sense of duty. He grew strong, not just physically, but spiritually, embodying the principles of patience and humility that would later inspire generations. Mecca's environment, with its mix of hardship and community life, taught him invaluable lessons about balance, the importance of work and worship, the value of family, and the significance of serving others. Even as a boy, Ismail's faith was evident in his actions. He showed respect for his mother, care for his neighbors, and reverence for Allah's guidance in every decision. The early years of Ismail in Mecca set the stage for his lifelong mission. They remind us that the environment we grow up in, the people we learn from, and the trials we face all shape our character. For Ismail, Mecca was not just a city, it was the training ground for a life of devotion, leadership, and unwavering obedience to Allah. Raising the house of worship, Kaaba with Ibrahim. As Ismail grew into a young man, he faced one of the most monumental moments of his life, the building of the Kaaba alongside his father, Prophet Ibrahim. This wasn't just a construction project, it was a divine mission, a symbol of faith, unity, and devotion that would echo through the ages. Imagine the scene: father and son standing together in the open desert, stones in hand, under the scorching Arabian sun. Every stone placed was an act of obedience to Allah, every effort a testament to their devotion. Ismail, guided by Ibrahim's wisdom, learned firsthand the meaning of service, sacrifice, and spiritual purpose. This wasn't simply about building walls. It was about establishing a sanctuary where generations would turn their hearts toward Allah. The Kaaba, with its cubic structure, would become the Qibla, the direction of prayer for millions of Muslims around the world. For Ismail, participating in its construction was both a spiritual and practical lesson. He understood the importance of teamwork, discipline, and precision, but above all, he grasped the deeper truth that their labor was in complete submission to Allah's command. Every brick symbolized faith, every act of construction an expression of trust in the divine plan. This experience also strengthened the bond between father and son. Ibrahim's guidance and Ismail's obedience created a dynamic of mutual respect and spiritual synergy. It wasn't just about physical strength. It was about character, patience, and devotion. Ismail's involvement in raising the Kaaba foreshadowed his future role as a prophet, someone who would continue his father's legacy of faith, leadership, and moral guidance. The story of Ismail and Ibrahim building the Kaaba teaches us timeless lessons. It shows that true devotion is active. It requires effort, participation, and commitment. It reminds us that faith isn't just a belief in the unseen. It's translating that belief into action, even when the task is monumental. Today, millions walk around the Kaaba, circling the sacred structure, unaware of the young boy who once lifted stones beside his father, following Allah's command with unwavering obedience. Yet every step they take resonates with the legacy of Ismail, a legacy of faith, service, and the profound power of a life devoted to Allah. The ultimate test, faith and sacrifice. One of the most profound moments in Prophet Ismail's life was the ultimate test of faith, a moment that would define his character forever. Allah commanded Prophet Ibrahim to offer his beloved son, Ismail, in sacrifice. Imagine the weight of that moment. A father, a son, and the divine call that would test their hearts, minds, and unwavering trust in Allah. For Ismail, this was not just a trial, it was a lesson in obedience and submission. He was asked to surrender everything he held most dear, trusting in Allah's wisdom completely. And he did, without hesitation, without doubt. He accepted his role with courage, humility, and faith. His youth did not weaken his resolve, it strengthened it. His trust in Allah was absolute. Ibrahim's own heart must have been torn. How could a father bear the thought of sacrificing his son? Yet, he too submitted fully to Allah's command, showing that true faith requires surrender, even in the face of unimaginable personal loss. Together, father and son demonstrated the deepest form of devotion imaginable. As the moment approached, Ismail's composure reflected a remarkable maturity. He reassured his father, saying that if this was Allah's will, he would comply willingly. This act of surrender wasn't born from fear or resignation. It was born from complete faith and trust in the divine plan. At the last moment, Allah, in His infinite mercy, replaced Ismail with a ram, sparing his life. The test was complete. It was a victory not of strength or power, but of unwavering obedience and submission. The story of the sacrifice became an eternal symbol of faith, reminding humanity that sometimes true devotion requires surrendering what we love most, trusting that Allah knows best. This test left an indelible mark on Ismail. It shaped his character, teaching him courage, patience, and absolute trust in Allah, qualities that would guide him as a prophet and leader in Mecca for generations. Muslims around the world remember this story during Eid al-Adha, reflecting on the lessons of sacrifice, faith, and obedience. The tale of Ismail as and Ibrahim as is a timeless reminder. Faith is more than belief, it is action, surrender, and trust, even when the path seems impossible. True devotion shines brightest when tested, guiding Mecca, leadership of faith. As Prophet Ismail as matured, he emerged not just as a devoted son of Ibrahim but as a natural leader for the people of Mecca. His upbringing, marked by faith, resilience, and the miraculous events of his early life, prepared him to guide a community in both spiritual and practical matters. Leadership for Ismail was never about authority or power. It was about service, justice, and guiding others toward the path of righteousness. Mecca, a city growing in importance due to trade and pilgrimage, required leaders who could balance the demands of the community with moral integrity. Ismail's example set the standard. His decisions reflected wisdom, fairness, and deep concern for the welfare of the people. Every action was rooted in faith, demonstrating that leadership is most effective when guided by moral and spiritual principles. One of Ismail's most remarkable qualities was his ability to lead by example. He did not simply instruct the people, he lived the principles he preached. His honesty, patience, and humility earned him respect far beyond his family. The people of Mecca saw in him a role model, someone whose life embodied the values of obedience to Allah, care for the community, and unwavering integrity. Beyond governance, Ismail encouraged the practice of faith, prayer, and devotion among the people. He taught that leadership was not only about managing resources or resolving disputes. It was about nurturing the soul, inspiring ethical behavior, and ensuring that Mecca remained a place of spiritual guidance. His efforts laid the foundation for the city to become a center of worship and pilgrimage for generations to come. Ismail's leadership was also a continuation of the legacy of his father, Prophet Ibrahim. Together, their work in Mecca constructing the Kaaba, establishing the Zamzam well, and guiding the community created a spiritual hub that would endure through centuries. Ismail's commitment to justice and faith demonstrated that true leadership is inseparable from devotion and moral courage. The story of Prophet Ismail as a leader reminds us that leadership is more than authority. It is responsibility, humility, and service. His life shows that those entrusted with guidance carry a sacred duty to inspire, protect, and lead with integrity, always keeping faith as the cornerstone of every decision. A life of integrity, character, and obedience. Prophet Ismail was not just a figure of historical significance. He was a living example of virtue, obedience, and unwavering moral character. From the earliest moments of his life, shaped by the trials of the desert and the guidance of his parents, Ismail embodied the qualities that define true leadership and devotion. His character was a reflection of his deep faith in Allah, whether it was as a child, learning to survive in the harsh desert with Hagar, assisting his father Ibrahim as in building the Kaaba, or leading the people of Mecca. Ismail consistently demonstrated patience, humility, and courage. Every action he took, every decision he made, was rooted in a profound sense of obedience to the divine will. Obedience, for Ismail, was more than following commands. It was an internalized principle. When faced with life's greatest test, the command to be offered in sacrifice, he did not hesitate or question. Instead, he accepted Allah's plan with complete trust and sincerity. This act of submission was not born from fear, but from faith, setting a timeless example of the power of trust in the Creator. Equally remarkable was his moral integrity. Ismail treated others with kindness, fairness, and respect. He was known for honesty in dealings, compassion toward the weak, and a genuine concern for the well-being of his community. People of Mecca recognized in him a character that could be relied upon, a person whose words and actions always aligned with justice and truth. Ismail's life teaches us that obedience and character are inseparable. True devotion manifests not only in acts of worship, but in the way we live, interact, and serve others. His example shows that faith is not passive, it is active, guiding behavior, shaping choices, and inspiring those around us. Even today, the story of Prophet Ismail continues to inspire. It reminds us that challenges, trials, and responsibilities are opportunities to cultivate character, demonstrate patience, and strengthen our relationship with Allah. His life stands as a beacon of integrity and devotion, proving that obedience, rooted in faith, transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary legacies. For anyone seeking guidance in personal conduct, leadership, or spiritual growth, Ismail's life offers a timeless lesson. Character and obedience are the true measure of a believer, and through them, we can navigate life's challenges with strength, wisdom, and unwavering faith. The lineage that shaped a nation, Prophet Ismail was not only a figure of extraordinary faith and character, but he also holds a pivotal place in history as the ancestor of the final prophet, Muhammad SAW. This connection is more than genealogical. It's a bridge that links generations of devotion, moral excellence, and divine guidance, shaping the spiritual destiny of the world. Ismail's family carried forward the values instilled by his father, Prophet Ibrahim's faith, obedience, and unwavering commitment to Allah. These traits were passed down through his descendants, creating a lineage that would eventually culminate in the birth of the seal of the prophets. The story of this lineage reminds us that the influence of righteous individuals echoes across centuries, affecting countless lives far beyond their own time. Living in Mecca, Ismail as nurtured his family not only with provisions, but with teachings of integrity, patience, and devotion. He understood that the future of his community depended on the moral and spiritual upbringing of the next generation. Each act of faith, each lesson of obedience was a foundation for a legacy that would lead to the emergence of the final prophet. This lineage is significant because it illustrates the continuity of divine guidance. From Ismail to the generations that followed, the values of monotheism, moral integrity, and submission to Allah remained alive, preparing the world for the ultimate message brought by Prophet Muhammad SAW. Through Ismail's family, the principles of justice, compassion, and devotion were preserved and passed forward, demonstrating the enduring power of righteous ancestry. Understanding this lineage also highlights the interconnectedness of prophets and their teachings. It shows that the lives of those before us are not isolated, they are threads in a tapestry of guidance and divine plan. Ismail's life, filled with trials, devotion, and leadership, became a living example for his descendants, a model that inspired the final prophet and countless believers throughout history. For modern audiences, this story teaches that our actions, faith, and character can resonate far beyond our own lifetime. Just as Ismail's lineage shaped the world spiritually, our choices can leave lasting legacies for future generations. The life of Ismail as and his role in the lineage of Prophet Muhammad SAW remind us that devotion, integrity, and obedience are timeless qualities that transcend time, geography, and generations. A family united by faith, Prophet Ismail as was more than a prophet and a leader. He was the heart of a family, devoted to Allah from his earliest days with his mother, Hagar, to his adulthood guiding the people of Mecca. Family and faith were inseparable. His life demonstrates how devotion within a family can become the foundation for both personal growth and lasting legacy. Ismail's household was defined by unwavering trust in Allah, Hagar's courage and patience in the desert taught him resilience, while Ibrahim's guidance instilled obedience, wisdom, and moral clarity. Together, they exemplified a model of familial devotion where love and faith intertwined, creating an environment where virtues could thrive. This dynamic shaped Ismail into a figure of remarkable character, prepared to face life's trials with confidence and submission to divine will. As he grew older, Ismail carried these lessons into his own family. He nurtured his children with the same principles that had been instilled in him: honesty, responsibility, humility, and above all, devotion to Allah. His home became a place where moral values were not only taught, but lived. Each act, each decision reflected his belief that a family rooted in faith could influence the broader community and future generations. The family of Ismail as also served as a spiritual guide for the people of Mecca. Their collective devotion reinforced the principles of monotheism, prayer, and service. Ismail's leadership extended beyond the individual. He cultivated an atmosphere where family members supported one another in righteousness, setting a precedent for generations to come. This story teaches us a timeless lesson. Faith is most powerful when it begins at home. A devoted family shapes the character of children, influences communities, and leaves a legacy that resonates through time. Ismail's life reminds us that the principles of patience, obedience, and compassion are strengthened when shared within the family unit, creating an unbroken chain of devotion. Even today, reflecting on Ismail's family encourages us to prioritize spiritual guidance, moral education, and love within our own households. His life demonstrates that when faith permeates the family, it becomes a source of strength, inspiration, and enduring legacy. The family of Prophet Ismail shows that devotion isn't just personal, it's a collective force capable of shaping history, faith, family, and timeless lessons. The life of Prophet Ismail is more than a story from the past. It is a blueprint for modern families seeking guidance, resilience, and purpose. From the trials of the desert to the establishment of Mecca as a spiritual hub, Ismail's journey teaches lessons that are deeply relevant today about faith, devotion, and the power of a family united by principles. One of the most striking lessons is the importance of trust in a higher plan. Hagar's unwavering faith in Allah while caring for Ismail in the desert demonstrates that families can face adversity with hope, patience, and resilience. Modern families, too, encounter challenges, financial struggles, health crises, or societal pressures. Ismail's story reminds us that faith and perseverance can transform even the harshest situations into opportunities for growth and strength. Another lesson lies in nurturing character through example. Ismail's life shows that children absorb the values, actions, and attitudes of their parents and elders. By cultivating honesty, obedience, compassion, and humility within the household, parents can prepare the next generation to navigate life's challenges with integrity. His leadership in Mecca and devotion to Allah were rooted in lessons first learned at home, emphasizing that family is the foundation of moral and spiritual education. The story also highlights the importance of active devotion and shared responsibility. Just as Ismail and Ibrahim built the Kaaba together, families thrive when every member contributes through guidance, care, and mutual support. Spirituality, service, and ethical behavior are reinforced when practiced collectively, creating a household that is both nurturing and inspiring. Finally, Ismail's life teaches that legacy is built through consistent faith and virtuous living. The lineage of prophets, the continuity of devotion, and the lasting impact of his family in Mecca show that a family committed to moral and spiritual principles leaves an enduring imprint on society. Modern families can draw inspiration from this. The choices, values, and love cultivated today echo far into the future. In a world filled with distractions, challenges, and uncertainty, Prophet Ismail offers a timeless guide. Trust in Allah. Nurture character within your home. Support each other through trials, and build a legacy of faith and integrity. His life reminds us that the strength of a family is measured not just by material success, but by devotion, unity, and the shared pursuit of righteousness. Through Prophet Ismail we see that faith and family are intertwined, and when combined, they become a source of enduring strength, inspiration, and hope for generations to come.